The Packers lost in Week 18 to the Lions, but it did little to damage their playoff standing or the power ranking standing with our Pete Prisco. Green Bay had already secured the top overall seed in the NFC, and that elusive first-round bye. This after they were the first team in the NFL to clinch their division with what seems like it was 3 or 4 months ago. Aaron Rodgers, the odds-on favorite to win another MVP, but good luck finding a book to take your bet. So, here's a look at Pete Prisco's power rankings entering Week 1. Packers were number 4. Pete put the defending champion Bucs at number 1 out of respect for beating the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. KC coming in at 3. But he was highest on Buffalo, a team that lost to Kansas City in the AFC Championship game. Josh Allen company number 2. By the way, the Titans come in at number 10. Pete does have a post-draft preseason power rankings in which he had Tennessee at 21. Now let's fast forward to today's final power rankings, and the Titans, the biggest riser at number 3 as far back as I mentioned, as 21. And they do it without the rushing king, Derrick Henry. Bengals, also a team projected in the bottom 6, ended up in the top 6. A couple of misses, right? Browns and Ravens, AFC North there, not on this list as of today. All right, let's bring in NFL analyst and power rankings guru Pete Prisco. So, Pete, let's talk about the top of the list first, because the elite teams we thought at the beginning of the season, then in the middle season, maybe murky, but we're back to having relatively the same teams here at the end.
Yeah, we saw that play out through the course of December, and they did have some bumps. I mean, all of them. The Chiefs, the Bills, Tampa Bay, they all had their problems. Green Bay without Rodgers playing that game at Kansas City and the COVID situation. So they all had issues, but here we are. They're all right back at the top, and they're all going to be serious Super Bowl contenders as we ready for the postseason, which could be a wild ride because there are a lot of teams that have real legitimate chances to get to the Super Bowl.
Again, your top 4 closely mirrors what it was back at the beginning of the season, but what about some of those misses or whiffs, Pete? Where'd you go wrong and why?
Well, I went wrong with Tennessee, for sure. I mean, they're a team that I didn't think would win the division. I didn't think they would get the number 1 seed for sure, and I had them way down on my list. My initial list, they were 21, and I didn't really gauge how tough and physical they would be. We knew Derrick Henry could run the ball, but could they throw it well enough? They've done that. I think they will do it now when they get Henry back and they have the receivers back on the field. And I was concerned about their pass rush, which has showed up in a big way. So I missed big time on the Tennessee Titans.
When we look at their conference, they're the top seed, they get the bye, but many people consider it to be a pretty wide open path to the Super Bowl. What do you think about the AFC at the moment with all the quality teams in play?
I think it's going to be a real challenge to get there for whoever does get there. I mean, the Buffalo Bills can go anywhere and win. We've seen that. They went to Kansas City and won this year. They did lose at Nashville, but that was after the Kansas City game. I think the Bengals are a dangerous team, but they got to protect the quarterback, and that's going to be a tough challenge against the Raiders this week. We know the Patriots have a history. The Chiefs, we know they have a history, and Patrick Mahomes can get hot in their defense. While it played well for much of a stretch down, the final 7-8 weeks, it did not play well the last 2 weeks, and that's a concern. So I think it's wide open. To be honest with you, I think it's wide open in both conferences.
Okay, Patriots and Bills, of course, Saturday, the night game on CBS. So then getting into the NFC, you say it's also wide open. What was the biggest surprise for you in that conference this year?
Well, one, I didn't think the Dallas Cowboys would win the division. I was the fool that bought into the Washington football team and thought that their defense would carry them to the title, and it certainly did not do that. It was a bad miss on my part. I had Dallas down a little bit. They surprised me with the way they won that division. And then I think the Eagles are another team. I mean, first-year coach, who was going to be the quarterback with Jalen Hurts? How would he play? And here they are in the postseason. I think those are 2 teams that were real surprises for me.
All right, Pete, certainly appreciate it. Waking up with us, joining us every single week for the Power Rankings. Check out that entire list on CBSSports.com. I want to remind you about the All Things Covered podcast with our colleague, Brian McFadden, 2-time Super Bowl champ, with Patrick Peterson on their show. Download and follow Cam Dantzler on the pod. Learning from Patrick Peterson, battling Justin Jefferson, and why Vikings missed the playoffs and staying ready for opportunities. There's going to be some changes both in the head coaching department and front office space.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.